Alright, peace and greetings, YouTubers. Quick disclaimer, for some reason it's storming outside. Rain, lightning, thunder. I might even get electrocuted making this video, but it might actually make it go viral, so we'll keep the camera rolling. So if you hear some noise in the background, it's not ISIS trying to drop a bomb on my house. It's just Mother Nature doing its thing. The rain decided it wanted to have a conversation with the ground. It didn't go too well, so now they're arguing. Snoop Dogg, Iggy Azalea. Let me jump into that. So apparently there's a beef going on between the two of them. Snoop said some stuff about Iggy on IG. She didn't like what he said. She took it personally. She responded, and they've been going back and forth for about a day and a half, I guess. And Nick Young, who's Iggy Azalea's boyfriend, he's jumped in on it now, and Snoop's going after him too. And I'm seeing lots of different viewpoints and perspectives on like Twitter. You know, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, F Snoop Dogg. He's old. He's going through a midlife crisis. He's bullying Iggy Azalea. He's jealous of her success," and all types of different opinions. And then on the other end, I'm seeing people saying, well, Iggy Azalea, you can't sit there and be a rapper on Monday and then you want to turn back into a privileged white girl the next day. Back and forth. A bunch of different perspectives. So here's my 2 cents. Whenever you choose to join into a culture, you have to be willing to embrace all of the elements that come with that culture. The good, the bad, and the ugly. You can't only embrace those elements of that culture when they benefit you, because that turns into privilege. So this is what I'll say. Hip-hop has always been a very territorial culture. It's always been very survival of the fittest. I don't want to say dog eat dog, but you know what? It is a tough industry to be in. And you really have to be about your business, or people are going to call you out for what they may consider your ingenuineness, or maybe your flakiness, or your basically, you just ain't who you said you are. That's what always happens. And anytime any rapper has ever gotten successful to the point where they're getting hits, they're on the radio, people are talking about them, white people know who they are, automatically you become a target. And you become a target because other people who feel that they are better than you, or they feel that maybe you aren't living up to the standard that they have for how things should be, you become a target. And Iggy, unfortunately, because you are currently, to say all be all in rap music right now, which leaves a lot of people very uncomfortable, you're going to be a target. And honestly, I understand that people are saying, you know, well, Snoop Dogg's bullying, and it's different because this is a man going against a woman. But if you've really studied the culture of hip-hop and how things have always been, there are no rules when it comes to who can go after who. Women, every single female rapper that has ever come out and has ever had any type of success or anything has always had to deal with some other male rapper coming after them. That's just the business of how things work. And because hip-hop, I think, is, you have to remember, this is also still a culture that's it's run by a bunch of black men and exploited by a bunch of older white men. So you coming in as a white woman and basically calling all the shots now, people are like, oh, hold up, wait a minute, time out, you didn't pay your dues. So I think that's what that is. Like, if you just look at history, we can go back to like 84 with Roxanne Shante. For those of you who are not familiar, Roxanne Shante, there was a group called UTFO back in the day, and they were like this group, and they had some song, and they had like a Roxanne little sample thing in it, and there was this time when they were supposed to perform, and they canceled it or something, so Roxanne Shante was pissed. So she made a response called Roxanne's Revenge, and it was like a diss track to UTFO. Bad move. What happens is, everybody and their mom starts making response tracks to Roxanne's Revenge. Not to TFO, but to Roxanne Shante. So she's getting bashed by everybody and their mom. There were so many different responses to this girl. Like, there's still no official count on how many people made diss records. It was to the point where if you could make a diss record, you would get radio play, whether you were signed or not. And you might actually get a record deal if your diss was that good. So there were like, some people believe it might have been up to like 110, 115 different response tracks. Everybody going in on Roxanne Shante. Oh, she's a slut, she's a hoe, she's this, she's that. Mind you, Roxanne Shante was 14, all right? And what made it funny is, when all this was happening to her, she didn't crawl into her little bed like, wait, no, I was nice to you, I'm only 14, just let me be in 8th or 9th grade and chill. She was like, oh, really? Okay. She came out with her responses. So it was like back and forth between her and a bunch of different people. And I think that's what the hip-hop culture has always been. You dish it out, you should be able to take it. If somebody comes at you sideways and you haven't done anything to them, you have 2 options. Either pay it dust and just ignore it, or you clap back and you come even harder. You can't be in a position where you're claiming to be the real, first things first, I'm the realist, and then somebody calls you out, and as soon as it's time for something to go down, you turn into like the worrisome soccer mom, and oh, I was nice to you, why would you say such a thing? People are just coming after me, I don't understand. Woman, you got like a #1 record. You're the first female rapper in like the last 10, 11 years to get a #1 record. People are going to come after you because people don't feel that you served your dues. And honestly, when you think about it, aside from the Lauryn Hills and TLCs, which are in a different caliber of hip-hop because there's lots of R&B influence, when you pull out the Lil' Kims and the Eves and the Nickies. Other than that, female rappers have never sold records. They never sell anything. As much as we loved Queen Latifah, and Salt and Pepper goes in that group too, but as much as we love Queen Latifah and MC Trouble and Moni Love and a lot of these other female rappers, or Remy Ma, and a lot of the female rappers that have always been out, they've never sold records. Yeah, they have a lot of notoriety in the hip-hop community, but they're not getting exposure and getting played up in Breadbasket, Kansas, whatever, because soccer moms were not comfortable with their young daughters or even their young boys, I guess, listening to anything from a black woman talking about anything. So now when you have somebody like Iggy Azalea, who looks different, and she's safe, she's just been embraced by pop radio, and pop radio has redefined her brand of music as what real hip-hop is. So you have an entire generation of kids in the suburbs calling Macklemore and Iggy Azalea the king and queen of rap. You're gonna be a target. So now, if you really embrace this culture and you're as real as you say you are, why are you getting your feelings hurt from something as simple as an Instagram picture? You haven't even been dissed on a diss record yet. That's when you get your feelings hurt. All right, so I mean, there's rules to this game. I'm not saying Snoop is correct in what he did, and I'm looking like Snoop, dude, what's the problem? But you have to understand, you jump into a culture that you actually didn't really belong to, and you flew over from Australia, and now you're breaking these records and stuff that people have been trying to break for 30 years, and you were able to do it in a few months, or whatever, with the help of big major label support, because once again, you look a certain way, so you're privy to different resources that other acts are not going to get. You're going to be a target. People are going to come after you. So your best bet is you either go back after them or you just don't say anything. And when you go back after them, you got to go back twice as hard. You have to build that credibility with people. Otherwise, you're just a joke. You're gonna be like Vanilla Ice. That's what you're gonna end up turning into, the female version of it. It's like, when you join and you choose to play a game, you got to abide by the rules. That's like me being a skinny person and joining the NFL and then getting pissed because everybody, I don't like how y'all are tackling me. You're tackling me too hard. Ow, ow, come on, man, I'm fragile. Like, what? That's what I get from it. Like, this is why I always get a kick out of that Sierra and Rihanna beef that they had a few years ago on Twitter. When Sierra said that mess about her on that show, and Rihanna was like, oh, really, huh? Okay, sorry, Sierra, I'm sorry, I forgot to tip you. And Sierra was, what? Oh, don't worry, Rihanna, you wouldn't be able to see me on or off stage. Rihanna was like, oh, you still trying it? Okay, good luck booking that stage you speak of. And Rihanna just ended it there. It was done. Like, just, so if somebody's going to come after you, either you clap back or you shut up. And you going to get your black boyfriend to handle it doesn't help. It just makes things look even... I don't know. That's just my opinion. People may be like, oh, you sound real ignorant in this video. We don't like you no more. Sorry. That's just how I feel. You're going to be a target. Any rapper who's ever had any success always becomes a target of other rappers because rap is territorial. Everybody's fighting for that crown to be at the top. You go back to LL Cool J and Kumo D, all right? Whether that's 50 Cent and Ja Rule. You can talk about Lil Kim and Nicki. Nobody was talking about, oh, Kim's being bullied or Nicki's being bullied. There was no such thing as bullying. Y'all got a kick out of seeing them two cuss each other out all day. Now all of a sudden, because Iggy looks a little different and because she took everything emotionally, the whole world got to stop because her feelings are hurt. Hey, Snoop, I don't understand why you're going after the girl, but Iggy, listen, if they're going to come after you and you're in a position where you are basically the biggest thing in hip-hop right now, you got to freaking either come with it or stay in the house. Or just don't, change the title of the type of music that you're doing. And don't call it hip-hop. Be pop or whatever you want to be. But if you're going to jump into a culture, you can't embrace that culture only when it benefits you and then push the other elements out, because that's not how this specific game is played. That's hip-hop politics. Yeah, some of it's backwards. That's how it's always been. That's how things are. That's my 2 cents. I'm out. Subscribe.